Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to send this message to the Normandy World Peace Forum. The topic you are addressing has emerged as a core pillar of efforts by the United Nations in the field of disarmament. Secretary General Antonio Guterres recognized this in his 2018 Agenda for Disarmament. His agenda emphasizes that as advances in science and technology continue to revolutionize human life, we must remain vigilant in our understanding of new and emerging weapon technologies that could imperil the security of future generations. Such technologies are increasingly straining existing legal, humanitarian, and ethical norms, non-proliferation, international stability, and peace and security. They are diversifying the tools of warfare and the ability of non-state actors to carry out attacks, including across international boundaries. They are also creating new risks relating to old technology, lowering barriers to access and opening new potential domains for conflict. The rapid pace of technological development is certainly a challenge to governmental regulatory frameworks and to multilateral processes. An existing multilateral dialogue is still absent, slow, or defunct on key issues. Yet it is important to acknowledge that the most critical aspects of new weapon technologies are actively being examined within the United Nations disarmament bodies. While all existing multilateral efforts should be accelerated, the United Nations is playing and should continue to play a central role. One of the foremost reasons for this is the simple fact that reaching effective solutions to these challenges is beyond the capacity of any one state or even a small group of like-minded states to address on their own. This situation is very different than legacy threats such as nuclear weapons, which remain a problem centered on a small number of states. Emerging technologies can diffuse very rapidly around the world, accessible even to non-state actors. Many developments are now being driven by innovations in the private sector, as we see in areas ranging from artificial intelligence to new capabilities in outer space. The availability of enabling technologies can allow a broad range of actors to adapt commercial off-the-shelf items and use them for military purposes, as we have seen with armed drones. Digital technologies are present everywhere, but determining attribution and responsibility for attack is a serious challenge, even for the most sophisticated actors. Multilateralism therefore remains central to finding effective solutions to each of these issues. Fortunately, over many decades, the United Nations has developed many tools in its disarmament toolkit that can be relied upon. First, we can promote and facilitate greater understanding of emerging technologies and the challenges they pose. Since 2018, my office has published an annual report on developments in science and technology and their potential impact on disarmament and international security. The United Nations Institute for Disarmament Research hosts annual conferences on outer space, technological innovation, and cyber stability. At a more practical level, we are working with various partners to facilitate the sharing of information and development of best practice for the reviews that all states must undertake to ensure new weapons they seek to acquire comply with international law. Second, the United Nations remains the foremost venue for the development of global norms and measures. We're currently supporting active intergovernmental processes in several critical areas. This includes promoting and possibly further developing a normative framework of responsible behavior in cyberspace, implementing transparency and confidence building measures in outer space activities, and addressing emerging technologies in the areas of lethal autonomous weapon systems. I have recently published an op-ed article outlining several different tracks where the United Nations can reinvigorate international efforts to control missiles. This includes gradually expanding participation in strategic arms control talks, dealing with destabilizing new capabilities like hypersonic weapons and terrestrial-launched anti-satellite missiles, and strengthening norms at the regional level. We also continue to support efforts by member states to pursue multilateral talks on increasing transparency, accountability, and oversight over the use and possession of armed drones. Third, our convening power makes the United Nations ideally suited for facilitating multi-stakeholder engagement. We have facilitated the engagement of the private sector, academia, and civil society in all intergovernmental processes I have mentioned. And through outreach to young people, like our newly inaugurated Disarmament Youth Champions program, our work to encourage responsible innovation with students in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and math, and our Apps for Digital Peace competition, we are seeking to empower future generations to continue acting as a force for change. Finally, the good offices of the Secretary General are ready and available to help mitigate, prevent, and manage conflict stemming from malicious use of new technology, especially cyber activity committed across national boundaries. I hope this brief survey demonstrates that the United Nations remains not only vital and relevant, but indeed at the forefront of international efforts to deal with the challenges posed by emerging technologies. I thank you for your attention and wish you a productive discussion.